Welcome back, one and all. It is I, Godzilla Brawler.
You may remember me from such nature films as Earwigs, Ooh, and Man vs. Nature, The Road to Victory.
Here to bring you some creative Godzilla-related content. I technically already recorded this video once, but normally I have my microphone straight up and down, and it was at a kind of tilt when I recorded last night, so the audio was all sorts of messed up. And I didn't really have an order of operations in mind for how I was going to tackle the topic of the video. So it ended up kind of being a good thing that I had to scrap that entire recording. Something crucial that I wish to point out is that not all of my videos release, i.e. become public, in the order that I recorded them. If you wish for some reason to watch my videos in the order in which I recorded them, the other day I went through the painstaking and arduous task of creating a second Godzilla Brawler Modern Era playlist on my YouTube channel, except all of the videos as well as my live streams are included on said playlist in the order in which they were recorded. So if you kind of want a glance behind the camera and into my process, that playlist will show you in what order I recorded everything. Before I tackle the topic of this video, I just wanted to remind you, as always, to drop a like if you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form. Drop a comment with your own thoughts. Let me know what you think. And subscribe if you would like to get content from me in the future. In addition, if you so choose, I would recommend checking out my merchandise store, Mount Merch, to pick up some gear for yourself. But as I noted in the last video that I recorded, my video about Marvel Tokon, it is now possible for you to also, or instead, I guess, rather, for you to become a channel member for the Godzilla Brawler channel. I am now monetized. Can anyone in the audience guess how much money I have made within the week and a half that I have been monetized? You, young man, what is your guess?
$1.
I have a buck. I have $1.
Well, you're reasonably close, I suppose. As of the day I am recording this video, YouTube Studio reports that I have earned an estimated revenue of $1.55. And I'm pretty sure I checked. I think most of that comes from the YouTube shorts of clips from the 10 Commandments movie by Cecil B. DeMille. Become a channel member and you will get, as of now, one of a dozen or so channel badges, and if you join the $5 rank, you get early access to videos. No one has signed up yet. I do plan on including shout outs to people who support me in my videos. You know, the kind of wall of names.
We're gonna build the wall, we have no choice.
Sort of thing that other YouTubers do. But that's enough about all that. It's time to get into some Idearena stuff, and thankfully this one is rather short and sweet. Most of my Idearena episode ideas have been in regards to monsters, specifically as they would be as fighters in a three-dimensional Godzilla fighting game. Well, this idea is markedly different from that. I wanted to broach a subject/topic that pretty much every Godzilla fan has had, at least in my lifetime. The idea of a movie set, a tokusatsu movie set in specific, as a stage. I will lead with saying, as a sort of pseudo disclaimer, the reason this hasn't happened thus far, I believe, because Godzilla's owning corporation, Toho Company Limited, seems to have a steel girder wedged where the sun doesn't shine in regards to paying homage to the Godzilla franchise's man-in-suits roots. As far as I am aware, Toho just kind of wants to bury that aspect of the Godzilla franchise, and to an extent I can see why they would feel and act that way in regards to such. Every single single Godzilla fan has lived to hear, oh, those movies are just men in suits smashing cardboard buildings. But I do think it would be a relatively straightforward and easy kind of thing to implement in a three-dimensional Godzilla fighting game, in the same vein as the Atari Pipeworks Golden Trilogy, consisting of Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, Godzilla Save the Earth, and Godzilla Unleashed, which regular viewers of this channel should not be surprised to hear. That is a phrase that I feel I repeat on a regular basis. So here's the pitch. We're going to take the boxing ring stage from Destroy All Monsters Melee and Save the Earth, and we're going to take that, that square ring, and we're just going to kind of double, triple, somehow increase its size. But it's still going to be a square fundamentally. And within this square is going to be a city environment with buildings that can be picked up and destroyed. Fundamentally, the gameplay would remain the same in my eyes in this kind of hypothetical dream game. But, and here's where the movie set idea really takes form, outside of the green ring limit barriers would be a regular Japanese movie set kind of background. There would be a director's chair, film crew with boom mics, etc., etc. I used an image from a clip from the film Pee-wee's Big Adventure to kind of demonstrate this. I have a bunch of disparate ideas for this, but I don't want to record for 3 billion years. That Tokon video was way too long. And the last episode I recorded before that was the previous Idearena episode, the intro extravaganza, and that video took forever as well. So let me start with a relatively minor idea. A lot of people who have never watched a lot of the older Godzilla Showa films always point out that you can see the strings holding up the jet fighter models or the King Ghidorah heads or whatever. I would make it so that characters such as Mothra, Mothra Leo, Batra, and King Ghidorah would have barely visible wire effects kind of around certain parts of their models. Obviously, they would not be tangible. You wouldn't be able to interact with the wires in any sort of way, but it just seemed like a kind of cutesy thing you could do if you were going to make this a stage in the first place. And much like the boxing ring in, at the very least, Godzilla Save the Earth, when a player KOs the other player / the enemy monster, I would have a sound effect. Now, in the case of the boxing ring, it plays the, ding 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 boxing bell sound. If you were going to do a tokusatsu city film stage arena level, I would have it so that when you knock out the opponent, you hear the clapboard clap, and you hear a human voice yell out, "CUTTO," cut in Japanese. That brings me along to a sequence of ideas. The crew. I'm imagining that these film crew members could be seen walking around in the background beyond the barrier while you are fighting, which would naturally necessitate that those crew members have 3D models, animation rigs, and textures, because, they'd be walking around or pointing or whatever while you fight. Maybe you could even have low Japanese dialogue kind of in the background alongside the music. Now, you guys know I never just leave things simple, and boy oh gee howdy do I love my references to old Godzilla media. If you watched my video about Godzilla in anime from what feels like an eternity ago, you should know that. But I want to highlight and focus on the director in the background of the tokusatsu set level. I see 3 distinct possibilities. First, and most likely, I see a world wherein the crew members and director on this stage are just completely blacked out, and they effectively just have a shadow texture over their body. Thereby meaning you can't see any of the details of them beyond what you can discern from the 3D models and the animation. Possibility number 2, which I find even less likely than possibility number 3, which I will get to in a second, is that you could maybe maybe have stand-ins for some of the various Japanese Godzilla directors over the years fill this role. As I have said before in regards to Charles Barkley in the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee mod project, it is probably a wise idea to avoid real-life person likeness copyright infringement, but hypothetically you could do something like a stand-in for Ishiro Honda, a stand-in for Shusuke Kaneko, a stand-in for Ryuhei Kitamura, a stand-in for Takashi Yamazaki. You get the idea. That being said, the director in the background is only really going to be a voice, and only some of those examples that I just gave do I even vaguely know what they sound like, and I wouldn't know who exactly was being referenced if I didn't look it up online. I also just think that it's just not incredibly likely for that specific thing to happen. If Toho is already tenuous and dodgy in regards to allowing a tokusatsu set as a playable stage in a three-dimensional Godzilla fighting game, they probably would not even allow that. But okay, what's my third suggestion? The cerebral among you, in my incredibly paltry audience, are probably wondering, why in specific did I pick a screenshot of Area 12 from God of Destruction mode in Godzilla Vs. for the PS3 and PS4? Why did I pick that? And this is incredibly stupid.
Well, maybe it is stupid, but it's also dumb.
But I would personally have the director of this stage be either Hatsugaya, the lowest level leader / prime minister of God of Destruction mode in that game, Chujo, the default / normal mode leader of God of Destruction mode, who, let it be known, is vastly inferior to Chujo from Tokyo SOS, or Takasu, the female leader, also from that mode in that game. Before I continue, I just want to say, I cannot be the only person who, upon initially seeing Takasu in Godzilla for PS4, thought that she was Reiko Namikawa, the Earth Defense Force commander from Godzilla Final Wars. I can't be the only one, right? There is a resemblance there, right? Before I learned that the three leaders from Godzilla for PS4 God of Destruction mode had names, I just thought that that character was Reiko Namikawa. Although I did not know her name either until I looked it up for this video. But I like reusing and recycling old Godzilla video game stuff and just old Godzilla stuff in general. And I personally hold Area 12 from Godzilla for PS3 and PS4 up as my favorite level from that game. I have no particular reason why, I just like it. In terms of building layout, I have fond memories of that stage level. So I thought it might be fitting to have those three characters from that game be the director characters for that level. But yeah, that's a pretty simple set of ideas. Dude, I am so sick and tired of my mouse double clicking like this. Anyway, that's about all I've got for that. Pretty short, sweet, and to the point, I would say. Oh, I guess I should say, for anyone diligent enough to stick around this long in the video and actually watch the outro segment, I did find my list of video ideas. The reason I couldn't find that paper is probably because I threw it away because I digitized my list of ideas and I have a Word document with all of them listed in it. So fear not, I do have ideas in the tank and I have the next 4 days in a row off. So I'm going to try to churn out a bunch of recordings such that I can edit them in the near future. I mentioned channel membership earlier in the video. As soon as I get those videos done and I get all of the chapters finished in YouTube and generally just get the descriptions completed, they will go up for channel members. I am not going to arbitrarily schedule when channel members will have access to new videos. The public schedule of every Wednesday is going to remain the way that it is for the current moment. But anyway.
I mean, we were right there, you know? And then we just, somehow, well, it's already been said. We didn't stay focused.
That's how I feel right now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and are taking it easy as you do so. And until next time, guys, I will catch you on the flip side.
It insists upon itself, Lois.
What?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?